going, friends? And you are my friends. And welcome to Live Talking Town. We are live across the internet, so please do get your comments in. We're going to talk about last night, Wimbledon Cup defeat on penalties, but cup defeat nonetheless. We're going to talk about Fulham that's coming up on Saturday. So whatever you're feeling, whatever your opinion, please do use our live chat and get active. We want to hear from you, and we'll try and feed as many as we can into the show. We are partnered with Match Bingo. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes, and each time you play Match Bingo, you are supporting the crucial work of the East Anglian Air Ambulance, which is a crucial service. All Premier League games for August are buy three cards, get two free. And bingos for the new season is buy two, get one card free. That's all Premier League games for August are buy three cards, get two free. And bingos for the new season is buy two cards, get one free. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. Over 18s only, be gamble aware. So get yourself sorted, get yourself settled, get your comments in, and we'll go through them as often and as quickly and in detail as we can. Joining me, first of all, there are two contributors this evening, but first up is the one, the only Matthew Phillips. Welcome, Matt. How you doing?
All right, thanks. Is everyone expecting me to storm off to make a cup of tea?
Yeah, well, possibly so, because it was a cup defeat. The last time we had a cup defeat was Maidstone, and that was the Wilderness era. Different times.
Well, let's hope after this one we're not 3-0 down at half time like the game following Maidstone.
Well, no, we're not going to be. We're not going to be.
And we were still in the hunt for a striker then as well, weren't we? So then along came Keith Moore and El Hamady. So I mean,
absolutely. It's not often I'm the positive sort of force, but I'm trying to put the positive spin. As I did a show today with a Fulham fan in regards to the Fulham preview, and the comments in there. I love our community. They tell it how it is. It's like he asked me about the strength of our side last night, and I was like, and I think it was Felix So Blue said, "Come on, Gov, tell him the truth. It's the most expensive side we put out."
Yeah. Well, the problem we had, I think, was McKenna was caught between two different mindsets because he's got a competitive fixture, but has to give because we've made so many signings. I mean, we've all enjoyed the signings coming in. They ain't here just to sit on the sidelines, are they? He's got to give them game time. And as he kind of alluded himself in the after-match interviews, a Premier League game doesn't allow you to make 6 debuts. So he had to kind of use last night as that. So I think he got caught between a competitive fixture and being in that almost like a pre-season mindset. I mean, Benny is signed probably on the Tuesday. Revealed on the Wednesday. Starts the first half. I mean, that's pre-season mentality, if you ask me. Gets 45 minutes. But look, at the end of the day, we didn't actually lose the game. I mean, it was 2-2. They only had to, in 90 minutes, they have to decide who goes through by the penalties. And we didn't take very good penalties, particularly. Well, certainly Taylor and Amari certainly didn't take what I'd call Premier League standard penalties.
Taylor surprised me because he's got, such a thunderbolt of a foot. I thought he'd just step up, do a Cam Burgess, literally take the net off with it. So that surprised me. But I mean, you say, we didn't lose in 19, and that's a factual point. I take it. Didn't do enough over 90 either to win it, did we? No. We rarely threatened the AFC Wimbledon goal. Who, by the way, they were outstanding. AFC Wimbledon. They had a game plan. They stuck to it, and they did everything you need to do to have all the ingredients for a cup upset. And it was a cup upset. And it's us that are, on the outside looking in the cup draw. And
we've been here before, though, in the League Cup. It's happened before in here. I mean, you could name loads of them, can't you? Exeter kept coming back to bite us on the bum. And it happened. I mean, we had a good run last season, didn't we? Where Wolves, Fulham, now obviously league fixtures for us. And I don't know. I felt sorry for Kieran, but, it was too many debuts, quite frankly.
Yeah, but because
strangers.
And I agree with that, and I agree with many fans, saying too many changes, perhaps. But that's because he prioritised minutes over performance. I want to say he prioritised getting minutes into legs, and I think we'll be stronger down the road, much stronger down the road, for getting those minutes into the players' legs than we would have done had we, fielded a more settled side, I'll say, and then gone for. More cohesion is the word I'm looking for. It was very much get minutes in legs, and that's what we need. We need these players up and running, and we need the rust knocked off a few players who perhaps haven't played in a while.
It was to use a boxing term, they had ring rust, and it did need knocking off them a little bit. And you've got to bring Cahoos in to get used to British conditions. He's not played here before. when was the last time Calvin played a competitive game? He certainly wasn't involved in the Community Shield, was he? So he needed minutes. Benny, he looked quite good for someone who's only just met his teammates, I thought. I mean, Clark was the standout. I mean, I thought he was tremendous. I mean, it wasn't because that's his game, isn't it? You give him the ball, he runs at defence. I mean, as everyone rightly says, and we said on the show when we kind of previewed his signing, he's all right-footed, isn't he? But I mean, he just oozes confidence. He was the standout. He was the standout for me. Didn't like the partnership of Dara and Burgess. Again, two players that haven't played as a combo in a competitive game. Cameron didn't look good, did he? And look, I've slated Cameron before and regretted it. So I ain't going to do it again because he scores that goal against Coventry that helps to take us up. But he talk about ring rust. He looked like someone who was really rusty. I mean, he didn't even get off the floor for them two headers.
Carbon copies almost a bit of each other. Goals.
That's that Reeves, isn't it? The captain. I think he sticks both. The delivery was fantastic. That's a League Two player sticking those in. I mean, you just think we come off the back of playing at the Etihad. we got away right there, I think. I mean, yeah, we didn't defend them. I mean, it was interesting. They kind of like, I think it was, I can never say his surname, Chris Awelamu, who's played for Colchester, Scottish fella. He was on the commentary for Sky Sports Plus, which I've now called Sky Sports Piss because it kept freezing. I ain't paid all this money for the feed to keep freezing. I'm going to send them an email. It's another one for our email list, Martin. Very
up.
Yeah. What was I saying again? Oh, yeah, zonal marking. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. The Sky Sports email. I mean, at the end of the day, you're sticking. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? If it's zonal marking or you're man for man or whatever. No one actually got off the bloody ground to challenge for the headers. I would have expected more of Cameron in that situation against League Two opposition. But
I mean, he does get a nudge for the first, but you have got to be stronger in that situation, and I think he'll know that. It's disappointing to concede those two goals that are carbon copies of each other. That you haven't learned from that first mistake. Great headers, great ball in the box, absolutely.
Some people thought the keeper should have come for them. Certainly not the second one. It's on the edge of the area.
Really?
Walton would have had to come tearing out for that.
I haven't watched either goal and thought, the goalie's got to do much better. And I'm normally critical of goalkeepers, and I haven't watched either and thought, the keeper's got to do a bit better there. Why is he not collecting that? But I'll get some comments. I don't want to drill into some individual, because there were some new players on show last night. You've already mentioned Jack Clark there. You're absolutely purring over him, as am I, and as are many Town fans.
Brilliant. He looks. You see why Sunderland are so gutted to lose him. I mean, he looks really good. Unlucky not to score. Maybe he cut in, didn't he? Had a shot. Yeah, I mean, he just brings the swagger that you want when you go down to these League Two grounds.
Yeah, and again, he's not been here. He's been here all too long himself. So he's only going to get better once he plays more minutes with his teammates. Once he learns what is required of him. Because McKenna's system is very, I'll call it very, very heavy in terms of where you need to learn your responsibilities and know where you need to be. And that's it. That's the benchmark of how he's going to start. It's only going to be great things for this football club, and we knew that signing him because he's a quality player. And you saw glimpses of it certainly last night. Get a couple of comments. We've got Steve B. Good evening, Garv. Enjoyed the show last night. Enjoyed being on the show as always, Steve. We absolutely loved you being on.
I like Steve when he comes on. He talks some good common sense. I like that.
Steve, there's more opportunities for you. Just send me an email.
Come on, Steve. It's good.
Absolutely, send me an email because I haven't got you on social media, and if I have, I apologise. Quick disclaimer: if I have, I apologise. But
that doesn't sound like you at all, mate.
What? Not knowing who half my friends are? No, it doesn't, does it? Oh, don't worry, I'll be on Saturday. Only made us see Town at home twice last season. We won both, and more surprisingly, didn't concede.
That's a good record to take into that game. Yeah, like it.
Just take it to the bookies now. That's it. Art's going to be there. It's now done. Rob Holmes, understandably, we look very disjointed with all the new faces in the team. Harp says Burgess was a bit lightweight. And poor defending says Rob Holmes for both set pieces. Ben's terrified. Ben is terrified, apparently. There you go.
What, Saturday or
I don't know.
Where this show's going? Who knows?
No, who knows? All right, let's start in the midfield then. Costa and Phillips. What did you make of those two and their performance?
I didn't like it as a combination, to be honest with you. Not because I think they're bad players. The fact that I just thought in my own mind that one would play with another regular. So, for example, I thought we might see Phillips and Mass and then Cahouston, Morsey, just to ease them in. I thought it was very bold to stick them in for what it was, an hour or whatever they did together, not really knowing each other's patterns of play. I mean, again, you can get that on the training ground, can't you? But yeah, I thought that was a mistake from a fan's point of view. Who am I to tell Kieran McKenna who's making mistakes? It took us back to back. But I mean, for me, that was a bold move, I think. And I think when he said in the interviews, you know, we didn't have that kind of penetrating, searing runs from the midfield. Well, that was the very reason. You didn't have someone there just to pick up the pace of it, who's used to the 90-minute grind in that side. We didn't have that there. But I mean, again, it goes back to the pre-season kind of mentality again. He wanted to give them an hour, and you don't have probably that luxury coming off the bench. So, you know,
from my perspective, individually, I thought both, you know, looked absolutely quality. I thought Phillips was, and this goes to both actually. So instead of saying just individuals, it's a combination of the two. They both looked really busy. They both wanted the ball. They both looked tidy on the ball. They both looked like players that hadn't played together. Exactly. And so there was no partnership there. You know, Mass and Morsey, for example, how many games have they got under their belt as a combination? You know, they literally probably think for each other the amount of games they've got together. These two players hadn't had that, obviously. And why would they? They've just both arrived at the football club. So you saw a bit of that. And I think in terms of runs into the box and movement, that's where some of that stems from. And that will get better. And that will only improve as they play more games on the training pitch and in actual, you know, in real life, in real game action rather. But individually, you could see the quality again shining through, you know, in terms of how busy they were and wanting that ball and their touches away from an opponent, etc.
I was reminded today of that England squad that come out that Phillips had played all 7 games in that Euro 2020. So we want him to get back to that kind of form as soon as possible. You know what I mean? So it was interesting that Cahoos took the left side, wasn't it? As we thought he would. He'd been playing the left side of a free, hadn't he, in Napoli? So he took that left side and Phillips was on the right. But of course, Morsey plays the right side, doesn't he, in our midfield? I think he has ventured over to the left previously. That'd be interesting if they go with those two moving forward, Phillips and Morsey, if they're going to be the two, because they're both obviously comfortable on the right-hand side. So I would imagine Morsey would move to the left. We saw it a little bit last season, I seem to recall.
Okay. All right. We've got Jason Clayton. Both of midfielders looks comfortable with the ball. Bald Blues got a little song going in the chat.
The problem was, Martin, they were comfortable, didn't do anything with it, which was to be expected as two kind of strangers in the side, which is, you know, you didn't see the kind of runs that Mass and Morsey bring to the table, which is why I thought it was odd that they got started together, because at least as you're trying to ease yourself into your first start for a new club, you had a teammate, like I said earlier, that's been through the back-to-back grind or whatever.
Yeah, Bald and Blue's little song in the chat is, we've got Super Kieran McKenna. He knows exactly what we need. Nearly 100 million spent. Now's not the time to vent. Fuck the cup and let's stay in the league.
I can hear that ringing out across Portman Road right now. That's very good.
I had to read it first just to ensure that it was okay to sing, because I've been caught out before with that.
You have. You've done well.
I'm learning. Well, you see, you learn from your mistakes, ladies and gentlemen, and that's obviously what we'll do from last night. Like, moving on, we have got Tux joining us in just a second. We're going to jump into Fulham. Our thoughts heading in. We have been live over on Twitter, so give everyone on Twitter a wave, Matt. I know you're not on those places anymore, but give them all a wave, because right now you're live on Twitter. Say hi, Twitter. Hi. We are now leaving Twitter, not permanently, so don't get the banners and the balloons out and the cake just yet, but we are leaving. So if you do want to carry on watching us, head to YouTube, Talking Town ITFC. Links in our post literally 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. So jump there. We've got more great stuff coming up. Got more, hopefully, fan opinion from our live chat. So thank you for watching over on Twitter. We appreciate it. We will speak to you very soon. But it is half time on the channel right now. So Matty, what have they got to do as it's half time on the channel if they're digging the content?
You got to like and you've got to subscribe. Just press the button. It's easy.
Yeah, you have got to like and subscribe. That's absolutely spot on.
People have been doing it, Martin. They've been doing it as well.
They have been doing it in absolute numbers, which we absolutely love to see. So thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing. Don't forget, we are partnered with SolarWise Roofing and Building Services Limited, solar panels, roofing services, UPVC, ground service, a whole host. Check out their website, solarwiseroofingandbuilding.co.uk, or call 01206 628 544. That's 01206 628 544. They're offering roof checks, Matt. The winter's coming up. So, you know, you need to get your roof checked, right? You need to get your roof checked. You don't need to sat under a leak.
No, this is very true. My extension, you remember, that went up in what, 2020 or whatever it was, 2019. That leaks occasionally during storms. Annoying.
Well, I know a guy.
I
know a guy. Give him a call. 01206 628 544. Have I just got that right? I have. It's getting in there. It's sitting in. I love it.
One take now.
Yeah. Yeah. I still take more than one take sometimes. We have got a Talking Towns prediction league also for our members. So if you're a member, head to your Discord server. I say your Discord, so head to the Discord server rather. Let's get it correct. And take part in the prediction league. Prizes are going to be good on there. I promise you, right? I promise you some good prizes.
Was even out of us two? Even out of us two down the Chinese or something? I'm still waiting for my Chinese.
I ain't taking no one out. I said there'd be good prizes. Who wants to sit and listen to me talk about budgies for an hour? I mean, no.
Yeah, that's true. Even we've never had that conversation, have we?
No, I don't talk about my birds that much, to be fair.
I'm just trying to say this. Compartmentalize your topics of conversation with me. That hasn't.
I'll tell you what, though, you have given me an idea.
What, talking budgets?
No. Anyway, we'll move on. Move on. Yeah, never know. End of season, Talking Town dinner with the Governor Matt on the viewer. I'm joking. I ain't going.
You're supposed to do something in the summer. That never transpired. Oh, you went on holiday for one thing. That didn't help.
Well, that's what happened. I went on holiday, didn't I? But yes, to Talking Town Matchday 4. Check it out if you're a YouTube member. Hit the join button if you're not, and you can take part. $4.99 cancel at any point. Right, joining us. Only 2 minutes later than I said he'd be coming in. So we're doing great. We're doing great.
He's still in San Francisco. He's still there. San Fran.
Is a song there? I left my heart in San Fran. Isn't there a song?
Left my heart in San Francisco. Yeah. Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
Crooner.
Yeah,
you're not a crooner fan, are you? Crooner?
No, I'm not. It's one of those songs that stuck in my head. I don't know. Look, what's in this head?
Francisco. You got to be started now.
There you go. You see,
it's pay royalties for that.
only if you sing it well, which thankfully you didn't. Here is the peaky one, Mark Tuxford. Peaky, how you doing?
Good, mate. How yourself? You all right? You all right, gents?
Yeah, we're really good. How was San Francisco, first of all?
Yeah, it was very good. We had a bit of a road trip, so we went to 4 different places in the US. So we did start off in San Fran for a few days, and then went to Joshua Tree, LA, and then end up in Vegas.
Good YouTube album, that Joshua Tree.
Yeah, it is.
Is that the one they forcibly put on your Apple?
No. This is back in the 80s. 80s album.
Right.
87.
Because there was one, weren't there, where they everyone woke up one day and there was just a U2 song on their Apple, and it's like, I didn't download this. That's all I remember of U2. I'm not a great U2 lover. Tux, last night obviously you were the fortunate one of not watching the game, so I'm not gonna ask you on it. That's why we just brought you in now. For those wondering why you didn't start the show, but for me it highlighted a little bit of the importance of a number 9. I don't know whether you agree, but how important is it we bring in a number 9 for you as we sort of count down to the end of the window, now only a day away from closing?
It's a good question, because if you look back when we were in the Premier League in 2001, 2002, I would say that you would need 4 quality strikers. But football isn't played like that anymore, because it's more about the midfield. So I think now you're looking at kind of 3 quality strikers, really. So for me, you've got obviously Delap, you've got Hurst, who's injured. You've got Ladapo, Al Mohammadi, but are those two going to go? I think Al Mohammadi will probably stay, but Ladapo looks like he's off. But for me, you've got to have that probably Premier League experienced striker coming in. I'm not sure who it's going to be. Obviously, the Broja deal seems to be off now.
Yeah, that's now off.
So, yeah, it's going back to your question. Yes, it is an important signing. I think probably the final signing we'll make, and I think it will be an important one. But to be fair, I could see George Hurst coming back and doing what he did in a way towards the back end of last season, where his quality sort of shows, really. And albeit it's a step up, obviously he's not played that level before, but I think he's got something about him which will probably surprise a few in terms of teams, and certainly defences.
Yeah, I mean Ladapo, seemingly is off, Matt. So that's another striker gone, another striker down in terms of numbers in the building. bro, your deal is off. And I've been saying for a while, my gut says it's going to happen because it's not been officially sort of ruled as off, and it was still, negotiations felt like they were continuing. Well, now it's come out that it's off, so, I wasn't right, but I was right in the sense of it isn't off a week ago. It was still two sides that could certainly get together. That's now off. So where do we go? Do we need anybody? I mean, Tux is saying we do, and I'm with him. Where are you on it? You're saying yes, so yes, you do.
Go and watch the Brosier transfer show we did. It's like bullseye. This is what you could have won. Bought out a speedboat. Oh God, yeah. I still think we're looking. I thought it's right from the very off, actually, from pre-season. We haven't scored more than one goal in a game, have we? Other than last night against League Two opposition. It was a great goal from Chaplin. We've not actually mentioned that. What a brave header that was from Connor. To go in there and score that. But yeah, no, I totally agree with Tux. I feel like we do need someone. I think it's going to be someone who's going to be UK based, because I mean, the window shuts at 11 o'clock tomorrow night. I mean, that probably rules out Ioannidis unless he's on a plane coming over here, or we're going over there to do his medical. So I have no idea. I mean, if you go on those with the day's news pages, it says that there's 2 irons in the fire. Identity is not known, and it's not known publicly who they are. I'm not impressed with some of these other lads that have been mentioned, like that Foster at Burnley. I mean, my mate Nick said, buy him now. He's hopeless. If you take him on loan, you'll be sending him back. That Denke looks quite good out of Belgium. But,
I just feel that we need somebody that's had Premier League experience. Whether they played in it last season or previous seasons, I feel like they need to be... they need to have had a couple of seasons in the Premier League, because we've got a squad full of players that haven't really played in the Premier League. Obviously, there's a couple that have, but ultimately, if they're going to hit the ground running, which we want them to, when they haven't played with players, and there's not enough time for them to sort of gel, if that makes sense in a way. So it has to be somebody who's got Premier League experience for me.
We've got to gel. So there's more chance of Paul Cook using hair gel than that team gelling under Cookie, unfortunately.
So that would seemingly rule out the Bruges striker for you then, Tux, in terms of Premier League
top flight experience, Mines.
He has, but Tux is saying Premier League experience.
It's got to be Premier League for you, Tux. You're not saying top flight.
I feel it has to. Yeah, I mean, obviously this guy, and there's a guy from I think it was Greece that had Champions League experience, and that's a different kettle of fish in itself. But for me, you've got to come in, because Champions League is different to Premier League in a sense that you're not battling week in, week out for relegation. You're battling to, essentially stay in the league and stay in the Champions League, stay in a tournament, and you could be out within one game anyway. So for me, it's the course of a season where Premier League experience really comes into its own for me. And Brosier would have been good for that. But for me as well, you've got to look at it and you think, this guy is going to be out for 7 to 8 weeks. That's no use to us, really.
Yeah,
so
great.
How's that going to affect us in the short term?
Which would then come back to my preferred option, which is Lyle Foster from Burnley. Having sat down with Jacob, who's a Burnley fan, put an excellent Twitter thread. That video is on the platform if you want to go and watch it. Where he's, where some of his best work is in the press, is leading from the front, is in bringing his team up with him. Just sort of, the more Jacob spoke, the more I've started to hear a McKenna style of striker.
Yeah, I was going to say that seems like a McKenna player to me, because it's not going to be somebody who is probably like a Kiefer Moore, because that's kind of done that job in the Championship. It needs to be somebody who is, I suppose, got a physical presence about them, but can also run the channels. And that's what McKenna's always liked in a striker. And I think with Foster, I wouldn't be too disheartened to sign him, because, as you say, he's that type of player that will press. And I think that's the type of striker we probably need. Whether he'll get goals or not, I don't know. But ultimately, look, if anyone was any good, then they wouldn't be leaving, would they? It's as simple as that. So, we've got to pick up what we can pick up in this league in terms of new signings coming through. But yeah, I think there has to be a striker coming through that's of a Premier League quality, that has played in this league before.
And I think sorry, Matt, I just want to say, I think, with bringing in another player like Delap, you've got Ali off the bench, who's that speed merchant, the player who can get in behind, that different option. If Delap goes down injured, heaven forbid, at any point in a game, before a game, in the weeks leading up to a game, you've got nobody in the building that can do what Delap does, which is vital to the McKenna system. Vital.
There's been rumours of that Evan Ferguson, isn't there, from Brighton, who's made the Ireland squad. I see today he's been out injured. I mean, he made a bit of an impact for him last season, didn't he? So it could be someone of that ilk, I think. I mean, like, I know everyone sort of says, like, you know, you're not looking at the 9 to score goals. I personally think we are. I mean, I know we've played 2 Champions League teams in City and Liverpool. We've mustered 3 shots in 2 games on target in those matches. So I do feel like we need someone who can blend it up a little bit, hold that ball up, but does know where the goal is. That's why I would have taken a chance on Keith Moore. I know he's gone to Sheffield United, but I'd have got him in the building you know, for a nominal fee as someone you could bring off the bench in his twilight years just to play that role.
But isn't the options that we're being linked with, in no disrespect to Kiefer, you know, at the same level, if not better? I mean, like for, you know, the Burnley striker, 23, you know, that
yeah,
a bit like the lap. Your the fees. It sounds inflated, 25 million obligation to buy.
I'd have him as a squad player. Now, I do agree with you. I'm just saying he would tick the box that Tux is saying. He brings experience. He knows where the goal is. I mean, Bald and Blue here saying Latte Lath. I mean, we've liked him from Middlesbrough. Again, this is someone who's played for, I think he's played for Atalanta. But, you know, again, this is someone who's not played in the Premier League, would be moving up from the Championship to the Premier League. But he looked very good in the Champ for us. But yeah, I just, you know, if the lap does go down injured, God forbid, yeah, we're looking painfully thin. And like I say, we've not, I mean, look, Liverpool, Man City is different gravy to playing Fulham. I mean, that's going to be a good barometer, isn't it, on Saturday? See actually what our content creation is going to be like, how many shots we have on target, can we score more than 1 goal in a league game? I mean, there's so many questions there, but we do look painfully short. I mean, what is even a time frame for Hurst? Has anyone actually said, when does Hurst return?
Wasn't it? I thought I'd heard 8 weeks, but then that could be now me taking the Broja injury and just sort of, putting it to George Hurst. But you've mentioned Fulham, so let's come on to Fulham. Obviously, Premier League week 3, Fulham at home. I sat down with a Fulham fan at lunchtime today. That's now on the platform. You can go and check it out. He gives us the Fulham lowdown, the latest on Fulham transfers, how they're going to play, you know, who might play. Good little interview, actually, even if I say so myself. So go and check it out. But Tux, many people, you know, coming out of last night, you know, obviously we have played Liverpool, Man City coming out of last night. You know, we sat there with Martin a couple of weeks ago, and he said Nottingham Forest was a sort of a must-win for Southampton, or certainly a mustn't lose, because they're a team that are expected to be in and around Southampton come end of the season. How are you approaching Fulham? What's your thoughts heading into Fulham?
I think Fulham, for me, I think they've done some pretty decent business. I mean, I like Emil Smith-Rowe. I think it's a very good signing. I think Saturday is obviously a game that, you know, we have more of a chance in compared to obviously the 2 fixtures that we've played already, because they are probably, if not, certainly City was the hardest game that you're going to play away from home. And obviously Liverpool, I think we did all right. But I mean, to be fair, you know, the 2 games we played, I don't think we were poor. I mean, yes, there was individual errors that crept in, but as a whole display, it's not the worst that I've seen us play. And if you can take those types of performances into a Fulham, then you'd hope that you'd have more chance of at least scoring goals. Whether you're going to win the game is a different kettle, but, you know, at least scoring some goals. And, you know, I'd approach this thinking that, look, this is a big game for us. You know, every game in the Premier League is big for us, but, you know, this is a big game coming off 2 defeats, obviously an upset in the Cup last night. So, you know, it's a winnable game. But I saw Chaplin come out today and said that, you know, the players need time. We haven't got time, Connor. I'm sorry, but we haven't got time, mate. You know, this is a Premier League season where, you know, 20 teams are in this league. You know, you play less football than you would do in the Championship. We're out of a cup. So we haven't got time to sit there and rest on our laurels. We've got to, you know, it's got to gel, and it comes back to that sort of Paul Cook sort of feeling that, you know, the team needs to gel and all this other stuff.
Do it again.
but we do. We have to gel, and we don't have enough time to sit there and gel. So, you know, these players that are coming in, they have to hit the ground running. But the players that we have signed, I think there's some that are a little bit kind of sceptical. Jury's still out on a few of them, but, you know, players like you mentioned, Jack Clark earlier, you know, he should be chomping at the bit and is in form. So, yeah.
Okay.
Are you sceptical about, Tux?
I think there's a lot being said about Ben Johnson. From what I saw at City the other week, I don't know. It's the passing that lets him down for me quite a lot. I like the fact that he takes a ball forward with him. He's not that kind of sort of Donessian sort of fullback where he'll just sit and get a nosebleed if it goes over the halfway line. But he is a player that will take the ball forward. But there's something about him where I don't know whether it's that he's just not nailed down a position yet, because I don't think he knows his best position. I don't think really anyone else knows his best position. And he's obviously come here to find that out. But I think the jury's out with him with a lot of the fan base. I can't really say too much about the others because I either haven't seen enough of them to really sort of comment on.
We did say that about Johnson Sunday, to be fair. Although he does serve up the assist for Smodeks, but I do agree. I mean, he looked quite good last night against the League Two side moving forward. But I do agree with you. I think he's probably more of a functional right back than an actual attacking wing back.
But you're only as good as your last game at the end of the day. You look at someone like Sammy Smodeks, who obviously played against City, scored a goal, was kind of all over the place, pressing a lot as well, and he was probably the best performer against City. And that takes that gives you confidence going into a game like Fulham where he's probably got to start. So you'd think that he probably might be able to grab another goal. And I like him as a player. I didn't like him when he played against us. That's how much of a good player he is. When a player comes here and you don't like them, that means that they're very good, and they're a threat in your side. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with him, and also Jack Clark. I think, as you said earlier, he's a good signing.
Yeah, which interestingly, as Joe sort of indicates in the chat here, Matt, a Sunderland fan said that Jack Clark wasn't being playing his best position last night. Apparently, he needs to sit on the touchline and then cut in.
It's interesting, wasn't it? He kept kind of he did do that occasionally, but they was also coming inside a little bit to allow Townsend to get into the attacking third. Yeah, I noticed that. But again, they were just trying stuff out, I think. I mean, if he was to start on Saturday, I think that would probably be a totally different dynamic. But yeah, I noticed that as well. But even if it wasn't his best position, he was still man of the match for us too, wasn't he? So
I think that he's probably been brought, and I might be wrong. I'm not McKenna, and I'm not privy to the tactics whiteboard, but I think he might have been brought in to play in the role we play our left winger, tucked inside, more on the ball, because he's so quick feet. He saw some of it last night when he, the Wimbledon player thought he was going to have the tackle on him. He's gone. Where's he gone? And I just think he'll play there, and I think he'll thrive in that position. And you've got that other addition to the game where you can still say, okay, go out wide, hug the touchline, and then you can open yourself up and play a different way. Because that's what McKenna and Ashton have done this window, is really add different strings to the bow, really add different ways we can approach a game. Like last week, for example, a different shape, a different approach, a different block, a different press, and we can really do that. But if you take this game, Matt, and many people have said, since the fixtures came out, this is where the season starts and all of that. And if you break the Premier League into two leagues, and Fulham expected to finish anywhere between sort of 11th and 14th, well, these are in our table, if you like, in our league. The top of that, albeit. So does that put more importance onto this Saturday?
Yeah, I think he does a little bit, especially when you've played two of the best teams in world football in your opening two games. Yeah, and we said earlier, this is going to be a good barometer, I think, to see, what kind of content creation we can we get shots in? Can we score? Can we win the game? I mean, it's going to be, but they're not going to, we ain't playing Southend here. I mean, they're playing Fulham, man. They've got, just lost, what was it, Palinha to Bayern Munich for about 70 million euro?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're an attacking threat. I mean, I think they sit fourth in the Premier League table at the moment for most crosses into the box. So I think they're going to get on the front foot with us. I mean, we'll probably come to the team in a minute, Martin. But I'm expecting them to get on the front foot. I think J-Mac said that to you. Probably from kickoff, they'll look to try and impose themselves on us. And I totally expect that. It's whether or not we can, over the 90 minutes, get a foothold in the game and, and the crowd be the 12th man like it was against Liverpool and see what we can do. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really tough game.
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to our members only prediction league, we have got a survivor game we are playing this year, which kicked off last week, but you can still join it at any week. So if you're watching this week, it's the first time and you want to enter it, please do. How you enter it, you leave a comment, not in the live chat, a comment on the video for the team you select. What you've got to do is you've got to select the team that will win. And I'm classing an away draw as a win and a home draw as a defeat. So if you select a home team and they draw, that's a defeat and you lose a life. You've got 2 lives, so you can get 1 wrong. Next one after that is, I'm afraid you're eliminated from the game, hence why it's called Survivor. Last week, I've got a little spreadsheet which I'm going to bring out in future shows, but I'm not bringing it out tonight.
Excel.
Excel, absolutely. I'm doing a little crash course in it. But only one person lost their life last week, and that was Lewis, because he got a bit smart with it. He tried to go with Forest, and that didn't work. So Lewis has gone from green to amber on the spreadsheet. One more, and he'll be removed from the spreadsheet. But these are your Premier League games this week. So what we've got to do is choose the team that's going to win, or if they're the away team, grab the away win. Matt, I'll go with you first. That's the Saturday games. You have also got some Sunday games that are there as well. Who you fancy, Matt? Who would you? Well, you're in it, so who would you be choosing? Do you think?
Spurs seemed decent against Everton last week, and so it proved.
Oh, by the way, just to clarify, once you've chosen the team, you can't choose them again. So if you've chosen Spurs last week, in Matt's case, you can't have Spurs. If you've chosen Man City, you can't have Man City ever for the life of the game. Matt, who are you choosing?
Probably going to go Man City.
Man City. All right, fair enough.
I'll give it a bit more thought, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Away at West Ham. That could be a tricky little fixture, though, to be fair.
Really?
Oh, I'm trying to put you off. Tux, who would you go for? Who would be your banker? Your banker to get you out of the mess this week?
Are we just talking like home sides or away sides as well?
You can choose home or away, but be aware if the home side draws, that's a defeat. If the away side draws, that's a win.
Okay. Can you go back on the previous page?
I
think I saw
on the Saturday fixtures. Yeah,
Villa. Yeah, I think I'll go Villa.
Villa away at Leicester.
Yeah,
that's a good shout. That, to be fair.
Do you think? I'd be mildly impressed with Leicester. To be fair, they've shown some really good spirit in the first two. 1 point from two, but
the Villa will be buoyant after their Champions League draw today.
Yeah,
that's true.
Which Martin doesn't understand.
No, why? Where the group stage is gone?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. It's change for change's sake, though, and it doesn't wash with me. I think the beauty of the Champions League was that it was very much a case that littler teams or lesser teams would play the big teams in that sense. But yeah, I don't like the league format of it, if I'm honest.
You won't be moaning in a couple of seasons, Tux, when we're in it.
Well, yeah.
I asked Matt earlier why they changed it, and what did you say to me, Matt?
Who do you think I am? Michel Platini? I don't bloody know.
It's like, cheers, mate.
No idea.
Great conversation. I'll leave it there.
The Nations League is one I still can't work out.
Yeah, I don't know
that thing going.
No.
Crazy. Anyway, the rules for Survivor are in the pinned post of this show. Choose before they all kick off, obviously, because if you choose after kick-off, I will know. I'll just immediately disqualify you. So, and there will be prizes. But yeah, so get involved. Right, moving it on back to Fulham. Expected 11s. I asked Matt for his expected 11. I'm now going to show you on the screen. Matt's going to talk us through it, and then Tux, I want you to expertly give us your best Alan Shearer, your best analysis of this 11, where you see the weaknesses, where you would change it. Or you can be Roy Keane
as well. Geordie accent as well.
Or you can be Roy Keane if you prefer. You can be any pundit you want to be. But here is Matt's team. Matt, talk us through it. What are you thinking?
We're starting with Muric. I'm not getting all this kind of. Everyone was hating on Muric last week. You know, as I said on the Sunday show, he needs our support, not condemnation. So he'll come good for us. And he needs to lay those Man City ghosts to rest. So he'll start for me. And then I'm playing 4-2-3-1 here, everyone. Because I think Fulham are gonna play similar formation. So I'm gonna match up with them. So I've got Johnson in that right back spot. I'm going to go Wolfenden and Greaves as our centre backs. I think it's still too early for Dara O'Shea to come in. I'm keeping Leaf on the left-hand side at the moment. Hopefully he can have a better week, having been up against Savinho and Salah in previous weeks. Midfield, I've not seen enough from Phillips or Kiyust yet, so I'm going with the two trusted, Morsey and Nwongo. That's not to say that I don't think both could come off the bench on Saturday, but I think it's too much to put one of them in a game that everyone's saying we can get 3 points from. And then my three behind Delap are Hutchinson, Smodics, and Clark. I think that's a really good little four. That Clark, Smodics, Hutchinson, and the physicality of Delap. So you've got the pace right behind now. the workhorses in the middle, and hopefully that spine of a back four with Muric.
Okay.
Hopefully he'll do the business for us.
One day, Tux, we will have. I will either have some equipment, or we'll be in a studio. We could do a Monday Night Football now. You can move these names where you want to move them, right? And you can put the tactics board wherever you want to put it. But that's what Matt's delivered. What's your thoughts?
I do like the team. I'll say that. But I think there might just be a change in the central midfield. Because I thought Luongo looked off the pace against City last week. And I think it will either be one of Phillips or the Swedish fella. What's his name? I can't pronounce his name. Kajust, right. So it'll either be him or Phillips.
Matt. It's so good.
So, yeah, I think there'll be a change in that midfield alongside Morsey. I do think Clark will start. Yes, I think Smodics will start. I do feel that maybe there might be a chance for Benny on the right-hand side, which means Hutchinson might be on the bench, but yeah, Delap up top. So I think I'd probably only make 2 changes to that.
Not Axel at right back. I mean, you've both gone with Johnson, but
and Axel at right back. Yeah,
Axel at right back. Okay, so 3 changes for yourself. Axel at right back, Kajust or Phillips alongside Morsey. If you had to choose one, who would it be, Tux? Phillips or Kajust?
Probably Kajust, I think. From what I heard last night, he didn't have too much of a bad game. I know obviously he's struggling with sort of probably fitness and stuff, but I think he'd come in. As a 4th change, I would potentially putting Walton in.
Oh, okay. Tell us why.
He likes Walton. He said this back in the summer.
I do like Walton, yes, but just for me, just going back to last week, I knew that fully going up there, we were going to lose, right? And if they won 6-0 and they scored quality goals against us, fair enough. See you later. But there was 2 absolute howlers from Muric, and anywhere else on the pitch, if that's a central midfielder that makes those types of errors, they're not playing the next game, are they? So it depends what you want from your goalkeeper. And I know he's only just signed; it was his debut. It's against City, so obviously he's probably going to get another run out and get given some time. But I was really disappointed with him. I think that honestly, the first half of that performance was one of the worst goalkeeping performances I've seen. And someone turned around to me and said, "What, is he worse than Aaron Lee Barrett?" I said, "He's on par with it."
That's
really wasn't great.
Aaron Lee Barrett. Aaron Lee Barrett was great. I loved Lee Barrett.
He played for Johnson.
But you can't be writing him. I mean, we've covered the debut on Sunday's show, but you are a Walton fan, though. You are a Walton disciple.
I do like a Walton.
I feel like you're coming from a little bit of bias anyway.
But it depends what you want your goalkeeper to do. Yes, it's great that a goalkeeper can play with his feet, because that's the only reason why he's there. But if you want somebody who's a shot stopper, who's a good goalkeeper, then obviously Walton comes in. But that's a 50-50. And in my sort of heart of hearts, I do think you should give Muric another game and give him the benefit of the doubt and give him some chances, because that will rock his confidence if he gets brought out. So I'm sort of contradicting myself here a little bit. But
Walton did play well against Liverpool, mind. He did.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he played all right against Liverpool. So, made some smart saves. But then, Muric saved a great shot from Haaland late on in the second half. So, but I think ultimately it'll be probably the three changes I'd make. But there could be an argument for a Walton's coming.
All right. Excellent. That's their teams. Get yours into the comments. If you're watching on catch up, get it in the comments. We'll also now go to our score prediction. So I've done a little bit of reverse here. I've asked Tux this time for his score prediction. I've put my score prediction, and then Matt, after Tux tells us what it is, can just tell us if he agrees, if he'd go something else. So this is your score prediction, Tux. You have gone for a 2-2. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I sort of feel that we're going to get a bit of a Desmond here. So I think we'll score, but I just feel that because we need to gel as a team, and Fulham will cause a threat, as we've discussed already, going forward. So I just feel that there could be chances for us, which I feel that we will take. But I think Fulham will peg us back a little bit. So I think it'll be a 2-2.
All right. I've gone for a 2-1. All right. 89th minute screamer from somebody. It's going to be absolutely.
Who's getting the screamer? Who's scoring it?
Probably
Muric.
that would be some 14 days, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Ogbene for me. Screamer. Not on the pitch long. What a way to introduce yourself to the Portman Road faithful. I can already hear the match of the day intro, by the way. Ipswich, fresh off cup defeat to League 2 Wimbledon, takes on Plymouth. For Plymouth, that's a throwback. Fulham today. Let's see how they got on with Steve Wilson as commentator or whatever, right? I can hear it already. I could feel it. But then Ogbene's going to scream it, and then Mika Richards will be
One we've not discussed is Ogbene coming in, Tux. Do you think the management has lost faith with Burns a little bit in terms of this is his second hamstring injury in 3-4 months, and Ogbene is now going to maybe be the starter there moving forward?
I don't know if they've lost faith in him. I think it is a case that obviously Burns is your go-to for that spot. Like he's been very good obviously for us for the last couple of seasons. But the point being is that when he has been out, like you've been saying, we haven't had a replacement, not a direct replacement for him anyway. And the fact that McKenna then came out and said, well, the best replacement we've had for him is Caden Jackson, that fucking says it all, really, doesn't it? So for me, it's got to be Ogbene that had to come in, a type of player that came in, because he's got pace. He's a bit different to Burns because he's obviously not as quick as Burns is not as quick as Ogbene, but what I do like about him is he can cross a ball, and that's something that we have lacked when we haven't had Burns. So I don't think they've lost faith in him, Matt. I think it's more that obviously he's injured, but you could look at it from a point that it could be similar to Broadhead because Broadhead's made of biscuits as well. So
indeed. When I say lost faith, I mean in terms of, like you always say, Martin, availability.
Yeah,
because the big goal for us is to finish 17th or higher. And unfortunately, Wes can't help us with that if he's watching the game from the stands of us. So it's frustrating that he's had 2 hamstring injuries. Is it the same leg in the space of half a year?
Yeah.
I don't see why.
I'd say that he's played a lot of football, though, isn't he? When you think about it, over the course of 3 or 4 years, he's played a lot of football because he's been our mainstay.
He has been a talisman.
And when he has been injured, he has been a huge loss for us. And it had to be a signing that comes in that is, whether that's his backup, whether that's his replacement over the course of the season, we don't know. But ultimately, you need somebody that's going to. It's competition for places at the end of the day, isn't it?
And what this does is it gives them, the full chance to heal. We're not trying to bring him back perhaps before we need to, or there's no temptation to, because you've got the quality in depth now where perhaps you hadn't before, or it was too tempting before, or whatever. It just gives him that full chance to go away, get it sorted, and then for me anyway.
He's been so good for us, Wes. He deserves a real chance in the sun in the Premier League, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he'll get it. He'll get it. A lot of games left this year, and he'll be back, and it'll be a big player for us. So I've gone 2-1 to round off the scores. As I say, I think last minute screamer from raises the roof off Portman Road. Tux has gone Muric with the second. I've gone Ogbene. More conventional for a winger to score the winner, but I'm up for Muric doing it as well, Tux. I'm nothing wrong with that. How about you, Matt? You got 2 scores there. One of them just takes your fancy, or have you got something else in mind?
I really hope it's 2-1 and we can get that win, but I think it's. I don't know. I mean, we're coming off. We've lost on pens to Wimbledon. We've mustered 3 shots on target against, albeit Liverpool, Manchester City. So there's pressure on our shoulders here to do something. I just wonder if it's a step too far to get 3 points. I hope it is. I'm going to say 1-1. I think it's going to take us a while to get going. To be honest with you, we've got. I don't want to say the word gel, even though I've just said it. We've got to blend these new signings into the side. So I think it's going to take into the autumn before we actually start clicking, and maybe into the second half of the season before we actually start doing something.
I think the international break is coming at a good time for us.
Good time, agreed.
Because you need minutes on the training pitch. Ultimately, it's not match fitness or anything like that. It's more training on the pitch and getting the players to know what each other are doing, and sort of developing sort of partnerships in certain areas, especially in that sort of pivot in the midfield.
Agreed, yeah.
So there has to be that sort of time for us. But as I said earlier, Chaplin come out and said we need time. We don't have time. We don't have time. So those international breaks need to be utilised. It's not time for holidays. It's time for getting on the training pitch and sorting it out.
Borden Blue says, Matt, it's not gel, it's cohesion. Cohesion is the word that we're all looking for.
We need a thesaurus, don't we, to find different words here.
I'd agree with you, Tux. The issue is it's international weekend, which means we've got players now on internationals. So the time you're going to spend with the group is limited anyway, in the wider group. So interesting. Phil says, Gov, this is to end the show. Last question before we end. So please do like and subscribe. Catch us again for the match reaction after the game. Fulham will be at the feet of Sir Ralph as we discuss what we've just seen inside Portman Road. So join us then, possibly live tomorrow if the club decide that we do want a striker. So I think I'll probably see it tomorrow as well. Phil says, Gov, which players were making an exit before tomorrow's deadline? Someone be delisted from Town's squad. I'll ask you for one name, or you can give me two, or you can give me whoever you feel. I'll start with you, Tux. Who do you feel maybe making an exit before tomorrow's deadline?
I think without doubt it's Frederick Ladapo, isn't it? He's off. He is off.
That feels like a bit of an easy one, considering that you've always said it
you asked a question. You asked a question, Gov, and I gave you an answer.
Yeah. I mean, you have played by the rules, to be fair, so I can't complain too much. You got me. Don't worry. Yeah. Matt, how about you? And you can't say Freddie Ladapo.
Yeah, I do agree with that one, by the way. Well, I think George Edmondson's going to go. The rumours are he's going to go out on loan to a championship side, and there's 4 or 5 in the mix, apparently, including Blackburn. Considering the headache they gave us over Spodix, I think they might be bottom of the list. And I think Harness will go out as well. I think Harness will go out as well.
Do you agree with both those names there, Tux?
Yeah, well, I think Harness will stay. I feel like he's sort of been not promised, but sort of given the word by McKenna that he's staying, by just judging by his kind of Instagram posts and things like that. I feel like he's sort of been told he can stay. I feel like a surprise one might be Taylor, because he'd be a 5th choice.
He's 50-50 him, yeah.
He was my player, because I wonder how hot the phone's been today from our loan department, because now you come out of the cup, you haven't got another cup game now until January. I wonder how hot the outgoing calls were, in the sense of a few players that you perhaps had in mind being around the squad in case of injuries, but then would get opportunities in cup games. Now you haven't got that. They need minutes, and I think Taylor falls into that for me. If you've got everyone fit, you've got 4 central midfield players that are above him. Where is he going to get the minutes? Where is he going to get those minutes now without the Carabao Cup until January? He's arguably, you would hope as a Town fan, he isn't, because that means you've got Phillips fully fit, Gahus fully fit, Morsey fully fit, Luongo fully fit, and I'm the Jack Taylor bandwagon driver. So you ain't going to find a bigger fan of Jack Taylor than me. But he will be a great player.
Why would you say that you're a big fan of Taylor, Gov? Because for me, since he's joined the club, obviously I know he didn't really get a lot of opportunity, especially after he signed Luongo. But what do you see from Taylor to make you a big fan?
Well, first of all, his work at Peterborough. A big fan of what he did at Peterborough. I thought he was a really good player, standout player for them. But for me, having seen what I've seen there and then seen it a little bit here, obviously his ability outside the box is evident. You've all seen that. You've all seen the ability he can turn on a sixpence and fire into the top corner, and all different manner of shots as well. Not all thunder, as you know what they call them, thunder bastards. Some of them are really quality, curling efforts, but it's more of his midfield play, box to box. He's energetic. He can cover every blade of grass. He can tackle. He ain't afraid of tackling. Let's be honest. And he's got a pass in him as well. But we've not seen the best of him, because he joined at a time when the midfield 2 was settled. Then the club just went like a rocket. And the player development chart, the track, no way that's going to keep track with that. I mean, unless your loans, Messi or Michael Owen, who, by the way, was a fantastic player back in his day. If you're young enough to not seen him, he was a fantastic player, Michael Owen. So that's not a name that should sound too funny of a sentence, but your development isn't going to go like that. It's not going to go like a rocket, like the football club. Which is why I say minutes now. He needs that game time again. Back the 90, back in and amongst it, back in a losing dressing room, back in a winning dressing room where it matters and it hurts and it's not sat in the stands watching, really.
plus the attributes you've just described Taylor as is basically what Hughes brings to the table, albeit, like you say, and more established, playing for Napoli and playing for Sweden.
Yeah, and he's not going to get opportunities to play in the 10.
There's a Premier League player, I think, in Jack Taylor somewhere. Whether that will be this year, I don't know. But I think there's somewhere in the future, he looks a good player to me. But what I think lets him down is more his defensive work. He's a very good tackler of the ball. He'll put in a good tackle. Yeah. But ultimately, his positioning for defensive sort of mindset or defensive games where we need to sort of put men behind the ball, I don't think he's quite there yet. And I don't know why that is, but I think that's what kind of lets him down. And I think that's why, obviously, that's why Luongo got signed in the first place. But ultimately, you've got then Phillips coming in and other players to play that position. So I feel like he could be one, as we're talking about, he could be one to go out on loan somewhere. But I think if we're looking across the players as well, I mean, you're looking at Edmondson. I do think Harness will stay. Just got that feeling. I think he'll stay as like a bit of a, I suppose, versatile squad player, really. I don't know who else would really go out. I mean, I think Slicker's staying, isn't he?
Yeah.
So that seems to be it, I think.
Yeah,
Kiyust is actually younger than Taylor. Taylor's 26 and Kiyust is 25. So, yeah, interesting. I like how you've given us a loan department, Martin. I can remember the time we didn't have a recruitment room, apparently.
Andy Rolls, I think is the name from memory. I was trying to, as I'm live. Department. Yeah, well, as I'm live, because this is live, we don't record it, and I can't edit it. And the name's in here, but it's not coming through to my mouth. And I'm thinking, crumbs, what is his name? What is his name? So I called him the loan department. But I think it's Andy Rolls.
It's good. I like it. Yeah, same like that. Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll work in the loan department. Yeah, just go to the loan department 3 doors down. Absolutely. Anyway, we're done with us. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you for joining us as always. Get involved in our Survivor League, Survivor game, and of course, if you remember our Talking Town Matchday 4. But until the match reaction or live tomorrow, depends on what goes on in the next 24 hours. Whether you're watching this live or on catch up, enjoy, and I'll see you later. This has been Matt. He's been Tux. All the best, my friends. Have a great evening. And I can't find my button. Happens at least once a week, right? You make me smile when I think of you. If I